Hello, everyone. We are going to get started with our community connection for April here. And just so everyone knows, if you have to leave early or you want to review this later, we are recording this entire meeting and we'll be sending out to everyone at the end of the meeting here. So today we're going to be going over some billing tips and workflow best practices, claim submission processes, overview of our Waystar integration option, as well as demonstrating all of this and some additional tips for billing. This is a webinar just for billing. So I know there's a lot of EVB concerns oftentimes. Please use the support tab on your Caretap and schedule an EVB compliance meeting for those questions. Additionally, you can ask questions in the chat and our support team members will answer them. So those of you who don't know me, I am Bridget. I am a onboarding team member. And then today, Freddie will also be demonstrating. He is our customer support and success manager. And then we also have Justin, our onboarding and support team lead as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of the Caretap family. It's really great to see all of you joining this and community. Every time we do these webinars, we see more and more people in this, so let's keep growing. And we serve a lot of providers. We do home care services, so PCA, CFSS, 245D, which is primarily what this meeting is focused on, but we also provide for ARMS, EIDBI, NEMT, group homes, interpreting, ICS, and adult day services, and private duty nursing. So if you guys provide any of these services or you know another provider who has these services, always feel free to reach out to us about the software options as well. So now we are going to start going over these Caretap billing tips and tricks. So I will hand this off to Justin.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justin, and I'm Caretap support and onboarding team lead. First, I would like to thank you all for joining today's Caretap community briefing. We really do appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. So for today, we'll be covering some important billing tips, workflows, best practices, and common issues that can help improve billing accuracy and reduce denials. Right? So on this slide, I'll quickly walk everyone through the billing statuses inside Caretap and what each color means. So first, scheduled, that is in black color, means that the claim or the time log has not been submitted yet for billing. Next, submitted, that is gonna be in blue, means that the claim has already been sent and is currently waiting for a response from minutes or from the payer. Then with processing, that is in green, means the claim has been confirmed and is moving successfully through the review process. Lastly, denied, that is in red, means that there is an issue that needs to be corrected before resubmitting the claims. Okay, so understanding this statuses helps providers or you guys to quickly identify where claims are in the workflow and resolve issues faster. For billing workflow best practices, we do recommend following this simple steps consistently to reduce errors and denials. So first, always approve timesheets before billing. Second, make sure to use a filter and review only the approved logs. Okay. And third, always review everything, especially the hours. Make sure the hours are correct. There's no missing hours, no extra hours on the timesheets. Also, make sure that the service authorizations that you have created for the clients have all the correct details before submitting any of those claims. Following this workflow helps prevent common billing issues and improves claim accuracy and turnaround time. So for top reason for denial, so one of the biggest reasons for denied claims are because of incorrect service authorization information. In fact, around 80% of denials are related to authorization issues. So before submitting any claims, any of you admins should always double check the following. The first is the diagnosis code, the modifiers, the procedure codes for each services that is selected, and also make sure that there is still enough units for you to bill under the service authorization of the client. Taking a few extra moments to verify these details can significantly reduce denials, save time on corrections, and help ensure faster payments. On this slide, we'll talk about the Waystar integration and remittance options that you can have on your account. This is in regards to any agencies that have clients billing under UCare or Medica or Health Partners or any other insurance payers aside from MA. So first is the Waystar integration for MCO billing. So this will allow providers or agencies to submit MCO claims directly from Caretap with just one click. There's no need to manually download and upload the batch files, and it will help save time and reduce manual errors. Okay, and there is a one-time setup fee of $500 for this integration to happen on your account. Next are the remittance advices, which provide better payment visibility. With this feature, any agencies or any account or any admin will be able to view the actual payment, or you'll be able to see if the claims are going to be paid or denied on your Waystar account. And you'll also see a detailed breakdown from each payer as well. Okay. Setup is required for each payer for the process to happen, and for any claims that you submit, there will be an additional cost of 20 cents per claim. So whenever you're using Waystar, there is a 35 cents charge per claim. So if we do enroll you for remittance advice, there will be an additional 20 cents per claim. Okay. While this feature is optional, this feature is highly recommended because it improves visibility, tracking, and overall billing efficiency. All right. So that wraps up the topics that I'll be covering today. So we discussed the billing statuses, workflow best practices, common reasons for denials, and the Waystar integration and remittance options. To help bring everything together, we'll now transition into a live demo. I'd like to hand it over to Freddie, who will walk us through a demonstration of the topics we just discussed and show you how this process works directly inside the system.
Thank you, Justin. Let me share my screen here. Is everyone able to see my screen here? Yeah, perfect. So thanks everyone for joining today's community monthly webinar. For those that are new here, my name is Freddie Zagwi. I'm customer support and onboarding manager here at Caretap. Today I'll be walking you through billing best practices, claim submission, and a few key areas that you could avoid common issues. Okay, so first thing first, on your dashboard, I always recommend the first thing to always do is you always want to keep an eye on the overused units that you have for your clients. What this is if you go in here, it would tell you if you overuse units for any of your clients or any services. So always check this daily. And you can also view our the report where you can see if you have any clients that have 50 units or less. For example, we have 3 here. So it would tell you the name of the client, the service type, and it would tell you like what's the remaining units. Okay. So I always highly recommend to check this daily because I would say 80% of the time of denials, it's because either you don't have enough units or there's something wrong with your service authorization. Okay. And this is located directly in your dashboard. If you're not able to see this, or if you don't have these two options, please reach out to our support team and we can take a look at that. Okay. Another from the dashboard directly, you can always see the amount that you bill, the amount received, and the amount denied. These are a quick overview that you're able to see directly from your dashboard. And if you have any denials here, you'll be able to see the reason of the denial. Another option that we have here is the reassessment due. So you're able to see which service authorizations are expired, or which ones are going to expire in 30 days, 60 or 90 days. Okay. So those are really, really important features that you can view. This will help you with your claims so you avoid any denials. Okay. The other one is I'm not gonna get too much into our EVV here today. Today we're just gonna focus mainly on billing. We will have another webinar here next month in regards to EVV. So I'm just gonna mainly focus on billing. But with the EVV situation, if you go under EVV, this is where I highly recommend to go into each page that we have so you can get familiar with each feature that we have here. Okay. So we have a lot of things like if you want to add a time log directly from the dashboard, you can click on add time log. If you want to see if any clients missed any clock in, clock outs, you'll be able to see that directly from here. And you can also see all the time logs from this page, caregiver time log. Okay. Another option that I always recommend to view daily is we have a client eligibility. So if you go here on this page, you'll be able to see if any of your clients have an active insurance. Okay. So we update this every Monday and every first day of the month. So you can view this directly from Caretap. Okay. This is something that I recommend viewing every week or every Monday or every first day of the month. This will also help you. I know when we get support calls, a lot of times the denials is because the client did not have an active insurance. Okay, so I highly recommend to view this daily if you can. But this is located under on the top right corner, and then you would select client eligibility. Okay, so that's that. And then if you go into the clients list, so if you go into your clients list here, and if we go into the service authorization page for that specific client, so if we go here, you'll be able to, one thing that we always get calls on, and this is a lot of times it brings on denials, is because they got a new service authorization for the client, or if the client is new and it's the first time that you're billing the client. A lot of times the error that we see is when you are entering the diagnosis code. Okay, so diagnosis code or the service authorization and also the service type. Okay, so if you select the incorrect service type, it automatically will select the incorrect procedure code. Okay, so that's something that I highly recommend to always check, especially if you get a new service authorization, even though you already billed the client before. But if you get a new service authorization, maybe that new service authorization has a modifier that you never used before. And when you enter the service authorization, the modifier never got submitted. Okay, so you always want to verify procedure code, diagnosis code, and the service authorization. Okay, always double check because I'll say 80% of denials is because it's something that's incorrect in the service authorization page. Okay, so I highly recommend to always double check when you enter a new service authorization. Okay. And then another option that we added, and we are having our team work add this option to your agency as we speak. So by tomorrow morning, you should have this option. And if you don't, you can always reach out to us. But an option that it's going to help you with your denials is a lot of times you have caregivers that forgets to clock out. So they work, they just forget to clock out. So they're clocked in for more than 24 hours a day. Um, and then another option is if you have caregivers that are only supposed to work 40 hours or less, but then you have some caregivers that are not checking their hours, so they're working more than 40 hours. So what the option that we added for your account is if you go under my account. So by tomorrow, if you go under my account, and then if you scroll down here, you should be able to see this option here. So you're able to select a weekly 40 hours cap for your agency. And you're also able to enter the max number of hours per shift. What this means is, so let's say you select 10 hours here. All your caregivers can only work up to 10 hours. After 10 hours, the app would automatically clock them out. Okay, so this is going to help you if you have caregivers that keep forgetting to clock out. Okay, and you can always change this, but you can only have a set of one number. Okay, so you can have like 10 hours, you can change this to 12 hours. But again, you should have this option by tomorrow morning. If you don't, you can always reach out to us and we can enable this for your agency. Okay, and then for the 40 hours, you can choose from what day to what day you want the 40 hours to apply. Okay, and this is weekly. And one thing with both of the options here is that you can also choose if you have caregivers. So if you have caregivers that are allowed to work more than the 40 hours, you can always override per caregiver. Okay, and then I'll show you that in a second. And then also for the single shift. So let's say you select 10 hours here, but if you have a caregiver that normally works like 15 hours, 12 hours, you can also bypass this for that specific caregiver. Okay, and then I'll show you that here. But this is going to help you with all your claims. I know a lot of times you have a lot of caregivers working more than the hours that they're supposed to. Okay, so if you go here, so let's go into a caregiver. So in the caregiver profile, so we added these options right here. Again, if you don't have these options, you can always reach out to us by tomorrow morning. But right now we're having our team add all these features or enable all these features to your agency. Okay. So right here, you'll be able to see the first option is override caregiver weekly hour cap. So this is the 40 hours. So if you have a caregiver that is allowed to work more than 40 hours per week, you can enable this. Okay. By default, it should be off, but you can always enable this. And then this caregiver will be allowed to work more than 40 hours a week. Okay. And then the other option is here. You can also give the caregiver the option to work more than the single shift limit. Okay, so if you selected 10 hours, and if you know that this caregiver is allowed to work than the limit hour that you selected, you can always go and enable this. So once you enable this, this caregiver will be able to work more than the single shift limit that you created. Okay. So now what happens if, let's say what happens if it automatically clocks them out, right? So that's the next question. Like what happens if, how do I know which shifts or which caregivers automatically have been clocked out, right? So what you do is you go under EVV and then you're going to go to auto clock out logs. In this page, you'll be able to see all the ones that have been auto clocked out. Okay. What this means is you have to edit the log. So you have to edit the clock out location, and you also have to edit the activities. Okay. And again, I'm not going to touch more in a lot into EVB, but as you know, if you make any changes, to the log, especially for adding a clock out location, it's going to automatically make that log not compliant, right? That is the case, but that is something that it's going to help you with when it comes to billing, so you don't run out of units. Okay. But again, you have to monitor, you have to enforce your caregivers so they're actually clocking out at the correct time. Okay. And then from here, you'll be able to make any changes that you need for any auto clock out log that you had. Okay. And again, if you guys have any questions on this, please feel free to reach out to our support line, schedule a one-on-one session. Please use all the support options that we have. Excuse me. So going back here. So now what I'm going to show you here is I'm going to show you the correct process on submitting a claim. Okay. And I'll show you this because this is what's going to help you as an agency prevent any denials if you do the correct way. Okay. So if you go, the first thing that you do is once the caregiver submits the timesheets, all the timesheets are going to come under receive timesheets. So on this page, you'll be able to see all the timesheets that have been submitted, right? So you'll be able to view each one of them, okay? So they're all here. The first thing that you want to do, is you want to approve the timesheet, right? The first thing you want to do is you want to verify the timesheet, make sure that the hours are correct, that the service is correct. So you want to open the timesheet. So as soon as you open the timesheet, that's the first thing you want to verify, the hours. You want to verify if the notes are there. You want to verify if the service is correct. And then of course you always want to verify the signature. Okay, you want to verify that the signature was correctly signed. A lot of times you have caregivers just add dots in there, so you always want to enforce that. You just don't want to approve any timesheet, right? So once you verify all those details and everything is correct, the first thing you want to do is you want to approve the timesheet. Okay. So once you approve the timesheet, here, that will remove directly from this page. Okay. So now it's ready for billing. Okay. I know a lot of agencies has a lot of timesheets where they're saying that it's hard for them to go one by one and approve each timesheet. One thing to know about that is, yes, I understand that, but it's also going to help you. It's going to help you verify each of the timesheets so you're not overbilling. So you're also not billing incorrect services or incorrect hours. So that is a step that I always recommend to always do first before you bill, is to approve each of your timesheets. Okay. And then I'll go next on why it's also necessary to approve a timesheet. But in here, so if you go back here, so let's go in here. So once you approve the timesheet, you can always go under timesheets, right? Go under timesheets, and then you select on timesheet signature status. In this page, you'll be able to see, and you can monitor here all the timesheets that are still pending signatures, and they're also still pending approvals. Okay. So if you go here to the previous timesheet or previous pay period, so I'm going to go to the previous pay period, you'll be able to see all the timesheets that I have here, right? All the timesheets, and then you'll be able to see the signature status here. Okay. If it says no, it means that the timesheet does not have a signature, right? So you're not able to approve the timesheet because the signature is missing. You'll get an error. It says signature is missing. Okay. But then if you see a yes, it means it has a signature. And then if you go under timesheet approved, if you see a yes here, it means that you already approved that timesheet. Okay. And if it says yes and no, let me see if I can find one here. Let's see here. So if you go here, if you see one, for example, if it says yes and if it says no, then you know that there's a signature on this timesheet and then it has not been approved yet. Okay, so that's where you would want to view the timesheet, and then you want to approve the timesheet. As soon as you approve the timesheet, it would change from no to yes. Okay, and then you can see all the other timesheets as yes, and they have been approved, so they're ready for billing. Okay, so now why do I recommend you to do this step first? Again, it's going to help you verify everything is correct, the hours are correct, the service is correct before you submit billing. Okay, our system still allows you to bill without you approving the timesheet, right? So that's something that we always had that in there, but it's something that we always recommend to approve the timesheet before you submit any billing. Okay, so now if you go into billing overview, so let's say we are ready to submit a claim. So we go into billing overview. In here, in this page, we have an option here, a filter. If you see this, it says timesheet status. If you select accepted, and then if you search, it's only going to show you all the logs that you accepted. So all the timesheets that you accepted, you'll be able to see that directly from here. Okay. So let me see if I can show you here. So you'll be able to see all the logs that you have accepted. And then from this page, you'll be able to submit those. Okay. And again, you only want to submit the accepted timesheets because you know that you verify those timesheets, you know that the hours are correct, you know that these services are correct. So you always want to use this filter. Okay. So then from here, then I want to go back to that slide, the first slide that we had. If it's under schedule, it always means that you have not, confirmed the logs, that the logs are still there, that you have not submit the logs. Okay. So that's scheduled. Under submitted, it's always blue. It's always going to be blue. It means that you submitted the log or the claims, that the claims have been submitted, but they're still waiting for a claim status. Okay, so the system or Caretap does not know that that claim either got denied or approved. It is still waiting on claim statuses. Okay. One thing that I highly recommend is when you submit a claim, and if it's been more than 24 hours, and if you go back the next day and you still see it under submitted and it's blue, you always want to reach out to our support line so we can take a look and see what's going on with that claim. Okay, so don't wait on a claim for more than 24 hours under submitted. It could be either it's a new client that you're submitting or there's something wrong with that claim. Okay, so you always want to reach out to us if it's been more than 24 hours so we can check and see what's going on with that claim. Okay. So that's that. And then if we go into if we here, let me change the claim statuses 1 second. I also want to show you the different colors here that we have. The other one is green, which is processing. That can mean that the claim has been processed, and it's based on minutes. It can mean that the claim it's about to get paid. Okay, but you always want to verify that. One thing that I also recommend now with the new process that the state has implemented with the under review is to always also verify minutes just to confirm, that the claim is actually getting paid, this and that. So they do send the claim statuses back to Caretap. A lot of times with the new process, they don't have like a set way of process with the status. So sometimes it's hard for them to update the claim statuses. So I always recommend to verify, just double check on minutes. And if you're not aware of how to verify that in minutes, you can always reach out to us and we can assist you with that. Okay. And again, so that's for that. So now let's submit a claim. Okay, so let's say we are going to submit a claim here. So if you go here, click on select. So I'm going to submit this claim here. So you click, you always want to click on update TS. Okay, so you always want to confirm a claim. That's the first thing you want to do. And then the next thing that you want to do is you always want to verify that the amount is correct. Okay, amount and also units. Schedule units, remember schedule units, it's always going to say that's a calculation based on the amount of units that you submitted on the service authorization. Okay, so a lot of times schedule hours and worked hours are not going to match depending on the caregiver and the services, the amount that they provided. But based on the schedule hours, what the schedule hours is telling you is based on the number of units available, the start and end date. If you work, if you're able to, if you're billing, you should only bill what the schedule hours are. Otherwise, you can run out of units. Okay, so that does not mean that your claims are going to get denied. That's only a calculation from Caretap. Okay. So then if we click on approve billing, so this is MA claim, right? MA claim, again, you always want to verify it here if the amount is correct, that the service procedure code, and then you want to click on proceed for submission. Okay. Once you click on proceed for submission, the claim is going to go directly to MA. Okay, so these claims for MA, we're fully integrated with minutes. So all the claims here are going to go directly to minutes. Okay, and again, if you want to check the claim statuses in minutes, it does take 10 to 15 minutes in order for you to see the claim statuses directly on minutes. Okay, so that's for MA. And then let's say if you have other claims other than MA, okay? Let's say you have like an MCO claim. It could be either like a UCare, Medica that you want to submit. We use a clearinghouse called Waystar. Okay, so we use Waystar, and I'll show you how Waystar works here. Okay, so give me 1 second here. Let me just find a claim. So let me show you this claim here. So this is Health Partners. Okay, so for Health Partners for billing to anything other than MA, it's the same process. You go in here. First thing you want to do is you always want to click on Update TS. You want to confirm this. And what this is, it's you're just confirming that you verified the hours here and the amount, and then you're going to submit that amount. Okay. So if you click on approve billing, if you click on approve billing here, there's going to be an option here where it says download X12 Waystar. Okay. So if you go here, there's an option where you can download a batch. Okay. So now with Waystar, there's two different options. Okay. One is we do offer Waystar integration. Okay. So if the Waystar integration, what that does is it gives you an option to submit claims directly to Waystar without having you to manually download and upload a batch. Okay. As Justin mentioned, that is a one-time fee. So we have like a $500 one-time fee for that. But if you're interested, you can always let us know, and then we can enable that for you. Okay. But what that does is you click a button and all the claims goes directly to your your Waystar account. Okay. But if you don't have that option, you're gonna have this option here. Okay. What you have to do is you have to download the batch, and then you would have to upload that on Waystar. Okay, so let me show your Waystar here. Give me 1 second. So let me show your Waystar account. You see here. Okay, so perfect. So in Waystar, the first thing that you want to do is you always want to upload batch, right? So this is the screen that you always see when you log into Waystar. You'll be able to see the upload batch page. So the first thing you want to do is you want to upload a batch here, and the batch name is any name that you want to enter. That's just for your records, the batch name. Okay, it does not go with billing. So you can always name this. And then what you want to do is you want to choose a file. Okay. Now, what file you choose is the file that you download here from Caretap. Okay. So you want to choose that file. You want to upload this. As soon as you upload, it depends if it's the first time that you're submitting a claim. You're always going to get that error message where it says name match needed. So if that's what you're seeing, what you want to do is you always want to reach out to support, and we can assist you with that. It only takes a few minutes, and we can help you with that right away. Okay. So now, if it's a claim that you already been submitting, one thing that I always recommend is you always want to go into the claim statuses page on Waystar, and you always want to view the statuses. Okay. So for example, see this, you can always view all the status here. This is the name matching that you're going to see. Okay. Name matching. But then if you go back here, you'll be able to see all the other ones. Okay. And then if you see rejected by Waystar, you can always just select here. And then you can always check to see what's the issue with that. Okay. You're always going to be able to see the rejection message directly here. Okay. And if you don't understand the denial reason, again, you can always reach out to us. We can always check and see what's going on. One thing that we're going to recommend you to do, based on the resources that we have, we're always going to ask you to reach out to the payer to get a specific error message or the reason of the denial. Once you get that from the payer, you can always reach out to us and we can help you resubmit the claim. Okay. So now if I know a lot of times, the payer is going to tell you do this, and then it's going to say, hey, like you need to submit the claims to Ability. We heard that a lot. One thing to know is from Waystar, they reroute claims through Ability. So even though they're going to say, hey, you need to submit the claims to Ability, just know that Waystar reroutes the claims for a lot of payers through Ability. Okay. But this is the page where I highly recommend to view the claim status for each one of your claims. Okay. And always go under status. Don't worry about the work group category code. That's from Waystar. Just always check the status. Okay. Now, with Waystar, Waystar does offer a service to see your remittance. Okay. In order to view that, they do charge. It's per remittance. It's 20 cents. Okay. So they're going to charge you that. So in order for you to get that service, we need to create a request. So we have to create a request. And in order to create a request, you have to reach out to us. Okay. And that does take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. And this depends on the payer. So if you're interested in that, you can always reach out to us and we can help you with the remittance. Okay. And now if you combine the Waystar integration, the one that I just mentioned about, the one time, the $500, if you combine the Waystar integration and the remittance, you're also able to see the claim statuses from any MCO payer directly on Caretap. Okay. But that's only if you combine those two. And if you want to get more information regarding this, you can always reach out to our support line and we are happy to assist or answer any questions that you have. Okay. So that is for Waystar. So let me go back here to Caretap. And then the final step here that you always want to do when you're submitting claim to Waystar is you always want to do step 2, which is you want to confirm here. Okay. What this does, it updates the claim statuses on Caretap and it tells Caretap that you submitted the claim. Okay, so next time when you're submitting a claim, it's under submitted and not scheduled. Okay. So that's that. And now let's say you already submit all the claims. A lot of times we have agencies that they only view this report, which is the amount billed received denied, what I always highly recommend is to always view our billing summary report. Okay. Now, billing summary report is where you'll be able to see all the claims that are being processed, all the claims that got denied, and you can also see their reason. You can also see all the claims that are pending, that are under submitted, but it does not have a status yet, so it's either going to get denied or approved. You can also see that directly from the billing summary report. Okay, you can export this. You can search by bill date. You can also search by service period. Okay, so that's this report. We also have other reports here that I'm not going to go through, but I highly recommend you to go over when you have a chance to play around with all the other reports that we have. Maybe one of those reports can be useful for your agency. So I highly recommend to go over each one of the reports that we have for billing. Okay. Perfect. And then now when it comes to support, we do have a lot of options for support. I know the main one is phone support, but a lot of times, especially during billing week, um, we would have to reach out to you if you're waiting on the line. So one thing that I always recommend is to always use the other methods that we have. So we have the live chat. With the live chat here, if you go on the left side, you can click chat now and you can have like a live chat with one of our agents. And you can also request a call. So let's say you need to talk to someone, you can always go in the live chat and just request a call and we can call you as soon as we're available. So you're not waiting on the phone. Okay. You can also email support. And then of course you can always reach out to us via phone. But also you can also schedule one-on-one support with our team members. Okay. You can always schedule one-on-one support. And then for EVV compliance support, if you're having issues with EVV, you can always schedule EVP compliance support directly from Caretap. Okay, that's going to be one-on-one. We would do a meeting. We would share screens, and then we can go over your EVP compliance and see if there's any issues or answer any questions that you might have. So I highly recommend to use those options that we have available. And again, yeah, that's everything I had, everyone. So I'm going to have this over to Bridget.
All right. So as Freddie was talking about, we have our support options of our phone line number here, the live chat he was showing, and also booking a support session as well. And then if you guys have any other questions, now's a good time to also put them in the chat and we will do our best to answer them. We also have a referral program, which is exclusive for Caretap users. So how this works is, has an agency that is already using Caretap, if you refer another agency and they sign up with us, you will get $200 per referral. There's no cap to this. So if you refer two different agencies, those two agencies both sign up with us, you could get $400. This referral form we will be emailing to you has part of the webinar recording and slides that we'll be sending out, but you can also find this referral form on your dashboard as well on the right side. And then we're going to be putting some links in the chat for you guys to give us a review. If you feel like we've been doing a good job with Caretap and you want to show your appreciation, if you give us a review, we will be sending you a $25 gift card. We'll also send these links as well when we send out the meeting recording and the referral form. We are going to have another webinar in May likely towards the end of May. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming to the webinar. It's so great to see all of you every month, and I hope that this has helped a lot of you guys with your billing. Thank you very much.